Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Tyndall here, or 10 Plays. Um, Today is a little bit different. I know I haven't been playing a lot of Pokemon. If you looked at my channel, I've been playing a lot of Destiny with my friends, but that's just because Pokemon's kind of been dry for me. So nothing really interesting happening. Nothing's changing in the OU meta. Uh, VGC is basically done for. Waiting for the new game. So we're kind of in that dead space. So I've been playing games with my friends and recording that because, having a lot of fun. But today, we are back for Pokemon. But not to play Pokemon, but to discuss something very interesting about the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games. And that is going to be, we are going to discuss terrestrializing. And I just want to say, right off the bat, my audio may sound different, and that's because I'm on my laptop. I'm actually not on my computer. Another thing I want to say is this is getting banned in OU. I'm sorry, but this mechanic is getting banned in OU. So, if that, I'm like really set on it's getting banned in OU. So hopefully we get like a month or so to play around with it before tier changes happen, and hopefully it doesn't get instant banned. It probably won't get instant banned because of how the council works and how tier shifts and changes like that. So we might get it for like a month or so and try to play with it, and then it's probably gonna get banned straight afterwards. But either way, I got some certain Pokemon here that I think are gonna be really good with the new mechanics, or just be even better. Sometimes the reason for mechanics being banned. So the first one we got here is Garchomp. Garchomp as Steel type would be insane. Okay, it no longer has that 4 times weak to Ice. It no longer is weak to Fairy type, so it's really good defensive typing. For Garchomp, and Garchomp's already a really good Pokemon, and you have Pokemon like Weavile and Mamoswine, and your Tapus that keep it in check from going like Uber tier, really strong. But with the Steel typing, now it can Iron Head, or you could even do Poison typing, but I like Steel typing better because it gives you that ice resistance. But all of a sudden, you now have Stab Dragon, Stab Ground, and Stab Steel. You can use Iron Head to neutrally hit Tapu Fini, which is most likely a 2-hit KO. Especially after a Sword Dance, it definitely is a 2-hit KO. If not, well, yeah, it's definitely a 2-hit KO because it's neutral because it's Fini's water. But you can use Iron Head, or you could use Poison, get neutral on Ice, and then super effective Stab against things like Tapu Fini and Clef. Which would make Garchomp's checks and walls a lot harder to deal with. If you have a Mamoswine, Garchomp goes Steel, Iron Heads it, or even Terrestrialize attack, which is supposed to be base 80, I think is what people are saying. So I'm gonna go off with base 80. It's pretty average. That's just Iron Head though. Like Iron Head base 80, still boom, Mamoswine's gone. And then you still have Garchomp running around with its Dragon and Ground Stab. So like Dragon Claw, Dragon Claw hits a lot of things for really strong neutral damage, and if you want other dragons, you can hit for super effective, and then you got Earthquake. So you hit basically everything for super effective here, and or you get the you get super effective or neutral. So this would be really, really strong. So Steel Garchomp, I think, would be really good typing for it. And obviously, pure Steel typing is just an amazing typing. So if you're gonna terrestrialize something you don't know what type it is, probably go Steel type. Next thing we got here is Avalugg. I wouldn't think Avalugg would be broken with this mechanic, but it would definitely make it a lot better. Defensively, Ice type sucks. It is the worst defensive type I can think of for just pure typing. Obviously, like Grass Ice is so much worse. But Avalugg as a pure ice type defensive wall is weak to so many things that it doesn't really get to use its defensive capabilities to its full potential. And making it into a bulky ground type, you get like a fake Hippowdon for physically defensive wall. You get like a fake Hippowdon. It gets recover. You got Rapid Spin to get rid of your hazards. You can give it heavy duty boots, assuming it's still in the game, which is like a whole nother conversation. how it changes metas. But you got heavy duty boots, you know, max HP, max odds defense probably, and then bold nature, or even since speed's so bad, just go brave. Relax. Sorry. And this would be a really good defensive wall, especially as a pure ground type. And you can accommodate for the weaknesses in Spadef, you know, with another Pokemon that would pair really well with this. You know, Pokemon that pairs well with Hit Paladin, so stuff like that. Corviknight would be a really good pair with this. Next Pokemon we got is Rotom Fan. Now, yeah, Rotom Fan is not like the greatest. I mean, it's probably the weakest out of all the Rotoms, besides base Rotom. And that's just because base Rotom doesn't have the stats like all the other Rotoms do. But I was thinking, you know, Rotom Fan has the Levitate ability. And it also has the Flying type. So, what you can basically do is, with Terrasilize, assuming it works correctly, and it just replaces your type all around, you could just go pure Electric type, Rotom Fan, giving you 0 weakness or 0 super effective attacks to hit you as your Rotom Fan, and now your ability actually works. So now the only thing Rotom has to worry about for super effective is Mold Breaker Earthquakes and stuff like, you know, Mold Breaker Earthquakes, stuff like that. So like Haxorus Earthquake, Excadrill Earthquake. That's all Rotom Fan has to deal with, which I think is really, really strong for Rotom Fan. Giving it, you know, just the pure Electric type. Make it, you know, it's going to make it artificially bulky because it only gets hit by neutral. And then, obviously, you got Will-O-Wisp. So if you have physical attackers you need to whip, you can Will-O-Wisp it. And then if you look at Excadrill, it's base 88 speed. Rotom Fan isn't going to go max speed, but you can get that Rotom switch in. Obviously, if you play right, you can get that Rotom switch in. You won't have to deal with the Earthquake. Obviously, since you're no longer a flying type, you don't have to run heavy duty boots. You can run leftovers, right? You run leftovers now. You can do Will-O-Wisp to get rid of the physical attackers, walls like that. I mean, Pain Split still exists, and it's got Volt Switch. Obviously, it's got really good. I mean, it would make Rotom Fan a lot better, giving that it gets rid of the weaknesses of being a flying type. He gets no benefit for being a flying type. So, because the Levitate's already off the ground, the flying type gets you off the ground and then gives you, you know, your stab, your stab stuff. So now you got Air Slash, right? You got your Electric Stab, you got your Flying Stab, and you have the perk of being a flying type, so you're off the ground. So you get the best of both worlds of Levitate and the flying type when you go to a pure Electric type Rotom. Another, you know, you can also make it any other. You can make it Steel type, make it only weak to, you know, like fire and stuff like that, which is another option. But I prefer to get the extra stab of the Electric typing here. Another one, Hydreigon. Now this one is purely, like, mostly purely defensive. A type change. Obviously, the most common type of Hydreigons as of right now is Scarf, Timid, max special attack, you know, max speed, so you can outspeed stuff, right? And then I typically put the rest in Spadef, but I mean HP works too. But I typically put the rest in Spadef. And I just want to pull the damage calc here. So we got, you know, Dark, Dragon, Hydreigon. And we have Scarfini, which is probably the most common Fini that we typically see. But I mean, it doesn't matter. This is Fini with 0 special attack investment. And Moonblast Oko's Hydreigon. Guaranteed. Like, no matter what. It just KOs Hydreigons. So we can change that by making it a pure poison type, right? And then now it takes nothing. It takes literally nothing. Like, that's almost Stealth Rock damage worth of chip there. 16 to 19 is not good anymore. I mean, Scald is better now. You go get that water resistance, but Scald is doing way more than Moonblast is. And Moonblast, 95 because of that resistance, right? I'll show you that other calculator in a minute. So then you go with Poison, and then you use Belch, right? The thing with Belch is you have to consume a berry for it to actually be useful and, use the move. But now we just make it into a base 80 Poison type attack, which I have Belch here, base 80, Poison, special type attack. That's a 2-hit KO on Tapu Fini, which is insanely good. Especially since, Tapu Fini can't switch in on this now. So you just Terastallize on the switch in, and you click Terastallize Poison, or whatever it's going to be called. I guess HP Poison at this point. It's Hidden Power, guys. Hidden Power's back, baby. Hidden Power Poison on Tapu Fini, getting that 2-hit KO with the Stab Poison type attack, which I think is really good. Another thing is the offensive capabilities. We got Weavile, who I think could benefit a lot. Honestly, the ice typing in general could benefit from Terastallization. And here I was thinking, Weavile could do like fighting. It could do fighting type or any other type just to get an extra stab. Which, I mean, some people are saying that defensive capabilities, obviously. I feel like that's the first thing that you can see. But offensively, yeah, fighting type, normal fighting type is it's an alright defensive. It's an alright defensively typing. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst. But then you get that knockoff stab, and you get your ice stab, and then you get like a low sweep stab. Well, I mean, just anything to change it off the ice typing could be really good. You could also do, I mean, if you're feeling really fun, honestly, and I might try this out, is just normal type Weavile. Which I mean, I wish Frustration and Return were back, but it is not, unfortunately. If they do come back, normal type Weavile could be a lot of fun. Even that, you could do Poison Weavile, or you could do Bug Weavile, but I would probably do Poison, maybe Poison Weavile, maybe Steel Weavile, something like that, or even fighting, just get an extra stab. And I think the biggest thing for getting extra stab would be Infernape. We all love the Infernape, and I'm going to stand by this. Mixed Infernape is the best Infernape out there, and it will always be the best Infernape. Pure Choice Band. So the problem with Infernape, I feel, is it kind of kills itself with the Life Orb and Stealth Rocks being up. Obviously, you could do heavy duty boots, but then you see that Infernape doesn't really have that Oko potential, or doesn't really have that power. So I think Life Orb, Iron Fist, or I mean, this could even be Blaze. It doesn't even need Iron Fist. But you could do Nasty Plot, Close Combat, Terastallize Ground, Infernape. And I think this is really good because, you can hit Blissey for, your special Infernape. So Blissey walls you. No, you got the Close Combat to break out Blissey. You have Nasty Plot Overheat to break Corviknights or Skarmory. So like Skarm Bliss is dead. Infernape single-handedly kills Skarm Bliss back in Generation 4. So Skarm Bliss is dead. Skarm Core or Bliss Corv is now dead. I don't, because Spadef Corviknight definitely does not want to take a overheat from a +2 Infernape. And then instead of Earthquake, I just have Earthquake here as a placeholder, but I wanted Earth Power. Basically Earth Power, Terastallize Ground. Earth Power is base 90, so we just drop it down to base 80. And then, base 80, Earth Power, coming off Infernape Ground, right? Infernape now is ground type, so now it has Stab. It's Stab, Life Orb, Earth Power on specially defensive talk specs. That's a 2-hit KO. That's a Bold Nature. We can go to, where is it? What did you Careful? It's still a 2-hit KO.
Earth Power Infernape is a 2-hit KO on Toxapex, making it where basically Infernape has no real walls. You could also do Fire Blast instead of Overheat. I just don't like Fire Blast's accuracy. But you could do Fire Blast, but I mean, it has no real walls. Like, if we go to Clefable, OU utility right now, change this to Fire typing. It's still it's a Fire Blast 2-hit KO, Overheat after a +2, and Nasty Plot on the switch in. I mean, it OHKOs Clef. Or utility Clef. So, like, Spadef Clef is probably the only real switch in. Just do OU Calm Mind. Just bring it all the way up to 252. Give it gentle nature, it won't matter. Yeah. Like, Overheat still has a 56% chance to OHKO a Clef. And that's max, which is insanely good. So I feel like the Pokemon that really benefit from Terrestrialize is Infernape. Infernape's always had problems with power. It's because it doesn't have enough power to break everything. I mean, it wants to add so much thing onto its set, and as more and more Pokemon and more defensive Pokemon exist, Infernape just keeps getting worse. So like when Corviknight, Corviknight exists now, so now it needs, a really strong Fire type attack to break Corviknight, to break Skarm. It needs that physical attack, close combat, to break Blissey's and stuff, and Chanseys. And now Pex exists, so those three, Infernape can't really do anything. Especially, so, now that you have the Earth Power, essentially, Infernape, can break all three of those by itself, which I think is insane. You just Nasty Plot up, and then, all of a sudden, it has no switch-ins. Like, Clef dies to Overheat, Fire Blast, that's fine. Toxapex, the OU Pex, max defense, typically, you can't run max defense anymore, you gotta run max Spadef. And look at that, +2 Earth Power OHKOs. I mean, I could even give this thing a Assault Vest. And it's still guaranteed 2-hit KO. So I feel like if Infernape comes back, this thing will become OU, and it would be so strong. It's so strong. Infernape would love to have this extra stab. So this is probably the Pokemon I want to see the most come back in the new generation. And there's a lot of other Pokemon like this, but the reason I think this is good to get banned is just the ability to change type. Every Pokemon has Protean now, which is kind of insane, and it makes the metagame really unpredictable to some degree, and makes a lot of Pokemon and a lot of wall breakers insanely strong. Infernape with ground can essentially destroy Stall by itself. And then, like, Unaware Clef is the only switch-in that I can think of right now. And maybe, I guess technically Quag also works. Yeah, Quag would also work. Unaware Quag also works. But even then, like, it's just so powerful that, one Pokemon destroy 3 walls by itself is insane. And that's one Pokemon out of 6. So you can get the others easily. Give someone like Quag a hard time. So I feel like these these are just some examples. I feel like with more Pokemon coming out, especially new ones, you'll see that these will get really strong. Another one I want to talk about that I just now thought of is Urshifu. Dark Fighting Stab is already really good, right? So you got the Wicked Blow, and then you got your Close Combat. Those two are really good, and with its ability, it's breaking through, and it's breaking through protects and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's got really bad Spadef, and it's got, it's got terrible typing against Fairy. Just you can choice ban it, right? Give it Poison Jab, and make it a Poison type. Oh no. and you make it a poison type, right? Boom. It just beats Clef now. Like, all of a sudden, Choice Band Poison Jab beats Clef. And, like, Urshifu is never coming out of the OU tier, even if it gets nerfed, because of Terastallize. And then, obviously, you know, haha funny, Shit Ninja. You know, Shit Ninja exists. Haha funny, Heavy Duty Boots. Make it a ground, make it a pure type, but like ground type. Ground type, Air Balloon. Haha, funny Shit Ninja can't die now. Besides weather and, you know, Stealth Rocks or... Stealth Rocks or weather can only kill this Shit Ninja. So, like, that's funny. I want to see if it's just... I want to check something. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Sunny Day. There you go. Shit Ninja, unkillable Shit Ninja. Right here, guys. Congratulations. Terrestrialized ground Sunny Day. Shit Ninja can't die. And so, you know, I think it's really... this actually needs to be electric. I lied. Electric, my fault. But yeah, stuff like that is really, really funny. And I think that, you know, these Pokemon, just some few examples of these Pokemon getting different types would make them insanely strong, especially since they keep their old stabs. So, like, that's not even going to the Ubers, where, like, the OP Pokemon are at. You know, this is normal Pokemon. Like, if we go to Ubers, like, it gets a lot more fun. Like, you guys wanna... I'm on Natdex right now, so you see all the Mega Pokemon. Which, by the way, they're never coming back. But, like, let's see. Like, obviously Arceus doesn't really benefit from that because it gets told a plate. Let's see. There's one I really want to find. Alright, Zacian. Guys. Zacian Crown. Assuming Zacian Crown is still in the game. It's just an Uber. It's already got the Fairy Steel type. It's already a fantastic typing. It's fast enough. It's bulky enough. Alright. Just give it a third stab. Like, you get the Play Rough. Right? You get the Behemoth Blade. Then you give it close combat. Then I think typically, as of right now, I can't remember exactly, because it's in AG. It's not even in the Uber tier. It's in AG. But then you can just, you know, I'll just put Crunch on here. Doesn't really matter. And then just give it a third stab. The Zacian OHKOs everything now. That's a lot of fun. Or you give it to, like, Alecki. Or Reggie Alecki. Right? Just electric. Specs. Transistor exists. And Thunderbolt. Right? That's essentially assuming it gives you an extra stab on your pure type. That's 1.5 stab, 1.5 stab, and 1.5 choice specs, and transistor. So if I go over to Regieleki, right, let's do special attacker Ubers, choice specs it, right, so that's stab, choice specs, transistor, stab again, just give it extra +1. And then let's go to Ferrothorn. Because defensive Ferrothorn, it's a 2-hit KO on Ferrothorn. It's a resisted hit. It's a 2-hit KO and a resisted hit. And defensive Ferrothorn. If we go to Spadef Ferrothorn, it's a guaranteed 3-hit KO. That's a and that's what the rationing nature. Yeah, so cool. We got plus. Yeah, so then like after Stealth Rocks, I'm pretty sure that OHKOs or 2-hit KOs, 3-hit KO. So it doesn't guarantee 2-hit KO after Stealth Rocks, which is nice because of the leftovers. But 3 layers of spikes, you're 2-hit KOing it. 2 layers of spikes, 2-hit KO. Even 1 layer of spikes, you still have that large chance to hit KO. So yeah, Terrestrialize is getting banned, guys. Let's have fun. But anyway, I might be playing some Gen 3 OU next time, maybe. I'll try to get more Pokemon content up here and towards, Scarlet and Violet. But I've been enjoying a lot of Gen 3 OU. Kind of got bored of the Gen 8 OU. It's been kind of the same thing. Besides the Melmetal suspect test, which, by the way, it didn't get banned. So either way, I'm going to head off and see you guys later.